Welcome to the Indila Podcast. This is episode 9, and this is Rain,
And this is Joey.
and we will talk about how we meet each other. We are just going to talk about the phase like 2015 to 2019.
And yes, this was Indila's long period of pause, 3 years, 4 years. There's debate about when exactly it began and when it ended, or certainly when it began. But during this time, the Dreamer fan base really sort of grew and flourished and became more and more international. For the first couple of years, from 2015 to 2017, the majority of the fan base existed on Facebook. There were people like Mejda, who we interviewed in the last episode, and also Jean-Marc, who would post every day and create these Facebook pages for Indila and organizing all her photos into albums and saying exactly when each picture was taken. And at this time, Instagram was not so popular for Indila. But then in 2018,
Mhm.
17, 18, it started being used more. There was a fake account for Intila on Instagram, which had a blue tick, but it was not really her. And it was in April 2018, so more than 7 years ago, Rain, that you and I met.
Yes. I think at that time you didn't have a specific fan account, it was your personal account. And I had a fan page by then, and we were just talking about something related to Indila, and that's how we met. And since then, we have been just talking non-stop.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, I forgot that. I used to have a European Union flag as my profile
Yeah.
picture. But but just a few days later, it was like I think it was like May the 1st of 2018 that I turned my account into a proper fan account and did my first post. So that was just a few days after we met.
When we opened the group chat, was it like a few days after we met? Because I remember me, you, and Gurkhan being in it.
I think it was June 2018. But yeah, so around this time, I also met Görkem, who is a mutual friend of ours on YouTube. He had lots of Indila accounts and he'd comment on her every day. And then he met you as well. So we started to kind of create a little fan group.
Hmm.
Uh, and then there was also Zahra from Iran who would draw these beautiful
Mm.
images of Indila, like Den ich dans toch niet alleen weer SOS.
I mean,
And
Girl One Leaves too. I remember that one. That was great. Or Stones. I'm not sure.
yeah, she always loved like nature. She would draw on like
Hmm.
anything to do with like Fodotan or things like that. And I think we created the first fan group because Mejda at this time, my friend was making a video for Indila's birthday, and I was looking to recruit fans to write messages to be in the video. I think that's why we did it. We made the group chat so that I could just ask all of you together.
I don't remember that one. I actually don't remember how I met Gurkhan.
Yeah, I don't know. He made an Instagram account at some point. Um, I think he told me that we already knew each other from YouTube and we didn't realize that we also knew each other on Instagram. And then just before Indila's birthday, a fan from Greece joined who was very young. She was 11 years old.
Hmm.
And she became a very close friend of ours as well. She was very funny and enthusiastic. And I remember over the course of that summer, 2018, I was working in a little shop and it was very boring days. Nobody would come in the shop. And I remember just,
You were a cashier, right?
yes,
I remember that era of yours. Yeah. What, 2018,
yeah,
19?
18, yeah,
In somewhere. Okay.
yeah. And I remember talking on group chats with you guys, and it would always like make the day interesting. And we became really close friends. even though we were from Turkey, Iran, Greece, and England, and different ages. And then it was like the middle of August when Ceren first discovered Indila. And about a month later, she was also in our fan pages. I think she met Görkem first.
Yes. And I think he added.
Yeah, I think the story is
I remember it, yes. I think Gurkan was tired of Jen's questions, so he just added her to the group so we can answer it.
exactly, exactly. And then Jaren would ask you and me many questions all the time, and it was great.
Yeah, really specific questions.
I remember she asked me Indila's blood type.
I remember that too.
Mhm, mhm. It was just so great to like, there would constantly be new fans. Like, some of them would not, would just come for a while and then leave, or they wouldn't be like really involved. But we developed over time this like core friendship group. And when I look back on that period of time, I remember you guys very much. And then around like December 2018, a very close friend of ours in Palestine started, she first learned about Indila. And I think she heard that Indila was dead, or she was scared that Indila was dead. So she started messaging like fan pages. And that's how I started talking to her. And then we added her to the group chats, and she became a like very, very close friend of ours. And you also, we also started making fan accounts for each other as fun. Like it was you who started that. Do you want to say?
It was me,
I think so.
but who did I open it for?
I think it was me first.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I remember it now. Okay.
Yeah, we had some joke one day that we were like Indila, that we had fans. So then you created a Joey Barber fan account, and then we all created it, and you can still see them, like Good Kim is my king or Zara fan page. And people got confused because I used to get messages from a guy like saying, "Who are you? You're famous."
Yes, I am.
Mhm, mhm. We used to prepare like little edits or montages for our birthdays, like with Intila and pictures of things that we liked. And this Greek dreamer's birthday was coming up, and but just a few days before, she suddenly stopped going to her account, and that was strange because she used to use it every day. So we messaged her on YouTube, and she told us that her parents had discovered that she was talking to us and that she was not allowed to use Instagram anymore, very sadly.
Yeah, I think she was like really young at that time.
Yeah, it was just days before her 12th birthday, so you can completely understand it. But of course, we were very close friends and it was safe. So it was very sad. But then we had a little bit of contact with her like a year later, and she was doing okay, I think. Also in 2019, so our close friend from Palestine joined at the end of 2018. Our Greek friend left in February 2019. But then throughout the spring and summer of 2019, our fan pages grew. We had more friends joined. We had Tushon from Bangladesh. We had Utku, of course, one of our hosts from Turkey. He was a fan on Twitter before, but I think he really started joining our groups around, I don't know, June. Also Olgun from Turkey, Hamdi from Turkey, many Turks, and Nur, who was in the first episode from Egypt. She became a huge fan and a very close friend. And also Leah from Wales, close to England. She joined also in July 2019. So by August 2019, all was ready. We had a great fan base. We were posting every day, and there were signs of Indila's return. And you will hear what happened next in the next episode. In 2018, another very complicated thing happened. So Newer fans may not know this, but artists used to often have a Vivo account as well as a personal account on YouTube, and both of them were official. And YouTube owned Vivo, but in like spring 2018, YouTube made changes where it merged all of an artist's different accounts into one. So all of the videos that were on separate accounts would become one, all of the subscribers would be added together. And Indila had an Indila Vivo account as well as her main Indila account, and those two got merged. But there was also an account called Indila Turkey, which had been created by fans in 2014. And YouTube, without checking, assumed that it was an official account, so they merged it with Indila's account. So a fan of Indila called Beyzanur, who ran fan pages on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, suddenly found that she had access to Indila's entire account. She could have deleted things, she could have added videos, she could have done anything. But of course, because she was a very good and responsible fan, all she did was delete her own videos, which had been merged, and then she just left Indila's account alone. But then a few weeks later, some very weird things happened. Because the two accounts were merged, the name of Indila's official account changed to Indila Turkey. So the official account with Denier dans Tochne dans le vide, the name of the account was Indila Turkey. And Beyzanur and I, we were friends and we were emailing YouTube, trying to contact them, tell them what had happened, ask them to change it. YouTube were being really unresponsive and they weren't really understanding the problem that they had caused. So Beza went into Indila's account again and actually wrote comments and pinned the comments to be top comments explaining all that had happened. And eventually it got resolved. The name changed to Indila again. But then about a year later, when Indila was actually about to return, although we didn't know this for sure, her record label tried to get into her account for the first time in years, and they couldn't get in because it was merged with Indila Turkey. And in trying to get in, it caused some more problems where suddenly the profile picture of Indila's account changed to the Turkish flag. So, I mean, just imagine this. It was not Indila's picture, it was the Turkish flag. And so everyone was commenting on YouTube and on Twitter, Indila's been hacked by Turkish people, something strange is going on here, blah, blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't that, it was YouTube's mistake. And they never apologized for it. In the end, when the record label tried to get into the account, they sent Beyzanur an email saying, if you don't respond in 2 weeks, we're going to give the account over. Beyzanur didn't see that for 2 weeks. So by the time that it was handed over and the profile picture changed, there was nothing that we could do about it. So we had to contact somebody who worked for Indila's record label, who had tried to get into the account, and then this lady, thankfully, went and finally changed it. So that was a very
Well,
strange story. But it did bring with it some very special news because we knew that Indila's record label were accessing her account again. We knew basically that there must be a reason. It seemed that she was about to come back. This was early in August 2019, and this was kind of the last piece of evidence that had been building for a while. So in 2016, 2017, to be honest, I don't know because I was not using social media to look at Indila. But in 2018, there was here and there little bits of evidence about Indila being ready to return. Like the festival Roubaix in France, who hosted Indila in 2014, they posted on Twitter a poll, who would you like to attend this year? And Indila was one of the options. There were things like that. And also occasionally people would meet Indila and they would write on YouTube, I met Indila and she said she's making her second album. But in 2019, suddenly we had a lot more information. So at the beginning of May 2019, there was a Twitter account which broke information about music news. It said that she was soon to return. And then at the end of May, a singer called Nazim was doing shows in France. And Nazim knew Indila. He actually worked on the album with Amir later. And he said that Indila is preparing a great return, that she'll be back soon. So we had more and more little evidence like this. Also, the thumbnails of the YouTube videos, Luister SOS, no, uh,
Darnadons.
Luister Den echt dansen toch niet only changed in June. One of them changed actually on Indila's birthday. So we thought, oh, there's definitely something coming. And then August, knowing that the record label tried to get into her account, that was kind of, confirmation that she was coming back very soon.
Now I will introduce you to Ceren's interview. And you know Ceren from the first part of the podcast. She's a really big fan and she really wanted to join this podcast. And you will hear from her soon.
Now you will hear an interview which I did with Ceren from Turkey, who is one of my best friends and a best friend to many of us dreamers. And my first question to her was, how did you discover Intila?
Kendim keşfetmedim. Böyle aslında tam olarak kendim keşfetmedim. Böyle 15 veya 16 Ağustos 2018 tarihiydi. Yani India'nın o çok popüler zamanı artık biraz daha azalmıştı. En azından hani benim yaşadığım bölge için diyelim. Benim aklıma takılmış olan bir şarkı vardı ama şarkının adı İngilizce olduğu için bir türlü hatırlayamıyordum. Ve ben o şarkıyı bulabilmek için oturup internetten sabahtan öğlene kadar yüzden fazla şarkı dinledim. Ve en sonunda buldum. Saatler sonra gerçekten nasıl başardım bilmiyorum. O şarkıyı buldum ve mutlu mutlu büyük bir zaferle dinlemeye başladım. Sonra birden çocukluk arkadaşım geldi ve şarkıyı beğenmedi. Ben sana daha güzel bir şarkı açacağım diyerek izinsiz bir şekilde Indila'nın şarkısını açtım. Ve böylece keşfetmiş oldum. Ama ben çok mutsuzdum. Çünkü yani saatlerimi verdiğim şarkıyı değiştirdi. Ve ben Indila'nın şarkısından nefret ettim. Indila'dan nefret ettim. Ki en azından çok az sürdü. Çünkü haksız bir nefretti. Ama haklıydım. Haksız demeyeyim, haklıydım. Çünkü saatlerce aramıştım bu şarkıyı. Sonra şarkıyı yani bir daha açmasını istedim. Çünkü yani yargılamam hoş değildi. En azından öyle düşündüm. Şarkıyı dinlerken hangi dil olduğuna dikkat etmemiştim. Sonra Eiffel Kulesi'ni gördüm. Aa, bu şarkı Fransızca mı dedim. Ki çocukluktan beri öğrenmek istediğim bir dildi ama e, hala öğrenemedim. Sonra dedim ki e, şarkıyı hikayemde paylaşayım. Çünkü Eiffel Kulesi var. Ben de Eiffel Kulesi'ni seviyorum. Şarkıyı kaydettim ve hikayemde paylaştım. Sonra kimlerin gördüğüne bakmak için tekrar tekrar dinlediğimde şarkıya aşık oldum. Bu şekilde Indila'yı merak ettim. Hakkında daha fazla öğrenmek istedim.
I didn't actually discover her myself. It was 16 of August 2018, the times where she was not as famous, at least at where I lived. There was a song that was stuck to my head, but I couldn't find it since the title was in English. To find that song, I spent half of my day searching more than 100 songs. I was finally able to find it hours later. I was so happy to find it, but once my friend arrived, she told me that the song was bad and said that she was going to play a song even better. She played Indila. That's how I discovered her. At first, I was so angry at my friend that she discarded the song I was looking for hours. So I started hating Indila. This didn't last long because I knew it was unfair. I asked my friend to play Indila again. I tried to recognize the language it was singing. I saw the Eiffel Tower and asked whether it was in French. It was, and still a language I wanted to learn for a long time, but I still haven't been able to. Because I loved the Eiffel Tower, I saved and shared the song on my story. And I started to fall in love with the song while I was checking my story time to time. I started to be more interested in Indila, and I wanted to learn more about her. That's it.
Tell us about how you joined the fan base. Who did you speak to first?
Bu hikayeyi paylaştığım gün, yani Indila'yı keşfettiğim gün tekrar Indila'nın o şarkısını dinledim, klibini izledim ve çok farklı hissettim. Çünkü o zamana kadar dinlediğim şarkılardan çok daha farklıydı. Dili anlamıyordum ama hani duygular ön plandaydı. Klip bir hikaye anlatıyordu ve ben kendime daha yakın hissettim. Çünkü ben de lise zamanımda, hatta tüm okul hayatım boyunca aslında zorbalanan biri oldum. O yüzden hikayede dışlanmış birini görünce kendime yakın hissettim. O şekilde hani dili hakkında daha fazla öğrenmek istedim. Acaba şarkılarını kendi mi yazmış? Klipteki kadın Indila'nın kendisi mi? Bu klipte anlatılan hikaye kendi hayatımdan mı esinlenilmiş gibi detayları öğrenmek istedim. Doğal olarak o yüzden sosyal medya hesaplarını araştırmaya başladım. Ama bir sürü hesap vardı ve hiçbirinin onun kendi hesabı değildi. Çünkü o zamanlar paylaşım yapmıyordu pek fazla. Ben de tek tek hayran hesaplarına siz Indila mısınız diye mesaj yazıyordum. Bu şekilde Indila hakkında bilgi almaya çalışıyordum. Tek tek tüm hesapları yazdıktan sonra bir kişi bana geri döndü. O da Görkem, ki hala kendisi en yakın arkadaşlarımdan. Ama ben de henüz küçüktüm, 15 yaşındaydım. Görkem benden daha da küçüktü. Ve ben Görkem'e bir sürü bilmediği sorular soruyordum. O da benden sıkılmıştı. Bana bir grupları olduğunu ve beni o gruba ekleyebileceğini söyledi. Benden kurtulmak için. Ama İngilizce biliyorsam ekleyebileceğini söyledi. Çünkü grupta diğer ülkelerden insanlar vardı. Ve ben İngilizce bilmiyordum. Okuldan öğrendiğim birkaç kelime, biraz dil bilgisi kuralları. Ama tam olarak biriyle iletişim kurmaya, kendi cümlelerimi kurmaya yetecek düzeyde değildi. Yine de kabul ettim. Beni eklemesini istedim. O da yaptı. Çünkü benden kurtulmak istiyordu. O şekilde gruba eklendim. Grupta herkes bana güzel davrandı. Herkes bana hoş geldin dedi. İlk önce hangisiyle arkadaş olduğumu bilmiyorum. Çünkü hepsi sıcakkanlıydı. Ki zaten çok da fazla İngilizce anlamıyordum. Ama duygular bana geçmişti yani. Dilin o zaman bir bariyer olmadığını öğrenmiştim. O şekilde.
The first day I discovered her, I started listening and watching the music video nonstop. I felt different because the music was so much different than what I've been listening to before. I couldn't understand the language. The emotions were more prominent. It was telling a story and I felt so close to it. Throughout my school years, I was someone who was always bullied. I wanted to know more about Indira. I wanted to know whether she was telling her story in her songs, whether she was expressing herself as the woman in the clip. Was it based by her life? I wanted to learn more about all of the details. I started doing researches on social media. There was lots of pages and I didn't know which one was hers. It was back then when she was not active on social media. So I was texting fan pages asking whether they were Indila or not. After texting multiple people, one responded. That was Görkem. He's still one of my best friends. I was asking so much stuff about Indila that he didn't know about. At some point, he was bored from it. He told me that they had a group chat and that he can add me, so I can ask all of my questions there. He told me that he could only add me if I knew English, because there was lots of people from other countries. I wasn't great at English back then. The stuff I knew was not enough for me to communicate with someone. I still insisted, and I was added to the group. Everyone was so warm and they all welcomed me. I didn't understand much. It was the emotions that mattered. That's when I have discovered that language had no barriers.
When Indila returned, you were on holiday, but you came back home. Tell us about this.
İlve geri döndüğü zaman bunu hiç beklemiyordum tabii ki de. Sürpriz oldu. Ben o zaman yaz tatilindeydim. Babaannem, erkek kardeşim ve ben arkadaşlar arasında da Ceren dediğimiz köyümde tatildeydim. Ve o köyde köyümüz dağda, dağların tepesinde baya bir uzakta bir köy. Dolayısıyla internet veya telefon çekmiyor. Bu yüzden ben sosyal medya hesaplarımı kullanamıyordum. Ve bana ulaşmak biraz zordu. Sonra bana o zamanki arkadaşım yani liseden hani arkadaşım İndila'nın döndüğünü ve benim hemen acilen şehre geri gelmem gerektiğini söyledi. Önce şaka yapıyor zannettim ama ciddi olduğunu görünce babaannemi ikna ettim. Köyde de o zamanlar bayağı yağmur yağıyordu. O yüzden babaannemi ikna etmek zor olmadı. Ben o gün mesajı gördükten sonra şehre, evimize ailemle birlikte geri döndüm. Ve sonrasında ki süreçte bayağı bir heyecanlandım. Hani rüyada gibiydi her şey. Ve birkaç gün boyunca tam olarak uyumadım. Geceden sabaha kadar tamamen uyanıktım. Ama gün içinde uykuya dalıyordum ve babaannem beni azarlıyordu. Ama güzel günlerdi, güzel hislerdi ve inanıyorum ki bu sene bunu tekrar yaşayacağız. Bu sefer köyde olmayacağım. Bu sefer şarkıları zamanında dinleyebileceğim ve büyüdüğüm için artık eğer konser olursa da gidebilmeyi çok istiyorum. Artık gidebileceğime inanıyorum. Eğer o zamanlar Türkiye'ye gelseydi ben hala küçük olduğum için ailem beni konsere göndermeyi bilirdi. Ama artık büyüdüm İndila. Gel.
I wasn't expecting it. It was a surprise for me. I was on my summer break. My grandma, my brother, and I was in the village. Some might call it Cerenville. The village was in a rural area, on the top of the mountain, so therefore there was no internet connection whatsoever. So it was really hard to contact me. My friend at that time called me and told me that Indila had come back, and I needed to come back to the town as soon as possible. At first, I thought she was joking. Once I was sure, I convinced my grandma to go back, and we came back to our house with my family. At that time, I felt like as if I was in a dream. I couldn't sleep for days. I was sometimes falling asleep throughout the day, and my grandma was scolding me. They were great days, great feelings. And I believe you're going to experience this again. I won't be at my village this time. I will be able to listen to her songs on time. And if a concert happens, I would love to go there. If she ever came to Turkey at that time 5 years ago, I would probably not be able to go because my family wouldn't let me since I was young then. Now I'm all grown up. Please, Ingrid, come back. Please.
What did you think when you first heard Balatatet?
İlk duyduğum zaman hiç beğenmedim. Yalan söyleyemem. Çünkü bu Indila'nın diğer albümündeki şarkılar gibi fazla duygusal bir şarkı değildi. Biraz da hareketli bir şarkıydı ve klip tamamen farklı bir hikayesi vardı. Diğerlerinden biraz daha farklıydı. Ama sanırsam geçmişi anlatıyordu. Yani ilk şarkının arka planında olanları. Aslında çok zekiceydi. Çok zekiceydi ama ben Fransızca bilmiyordum, uykusuzdum ve yılların birikmiş umuduyla o an ilk dinlediğimde şarkı biraz bana bu mu ya gibi hissettirdi. Ama sonra arkadaşlarım çevirince şarkıyı ben çok beğendim. Ve hala dinliyorum, hala severek dinliyorum. En sevdiğim şarkı o mu? Benim için bir tık fazla hareketli bir şarkı. Ama çok güzel, çok seviyorum yani hala.
I'm not going to lie, I hated it the first time I listened to it. It was not an emotional song compared to other songs in the previous album. This was more energetic. It had a whole different story. It was actually telling what happened before the other songs. It was really clever. But because I didn't know French and was sleep deprived and had lots of hope that I had for years, I hated the first time I listened to it. And then when my friends translated the song for me, I started to really like it. I still listen to it to this day. Still not my favorite because it's too fast paced for me, but I still love it.
You're famous in the Dreamers for your heartfelt messages. How did you write these? How do you write these?
Gerçekten böyle düşündüğünüz için teşekkür ederim. Aslında heyecanım, hiç kendim gibi konuşmuyorum şu an. Tanıştığımız günden beri aslında hepimizin mesajları çok sevgi doluydu. Çoğumuz farklı kültürlerden, farklı dillerden, farklı ülkelerden tanışıp arkadaş olduk. Normalde böyle insanların kolay kolay anlaşması beklenmez. Ama biz çok güzel bir arkadaşlık yarattık. Ve bugüne kadar da devam etti. 7 yıldır. Dile kolay. Ben 15 yaşında bir genç kızdım o zamanlar. Kendime hani diğer yaşıtlarım gibi örnek alabileceğim bir kişi istedim. Kişi aradım. Ki gelişimin zaten normal bir parçasıdır bu. Örnek alabileceğim bir kişilik. Indila da benim için örnek alabileceğim bir kişiydi. Karakteri, davranışları olsun, güzel sözleri olsun, her ne kadar Fransızca anlamasam da. O beni çok mutlu etti. Hani ben anlaşıldığımı ilk kez onun şarkı sözlerini okuduğumda anladım. Ve ben de hissettiklerimi aynı şekilde şiirsel bir dille geri yansıtmaya, yazmaya çalıştım. Ve sanırım başarılı oldum ki böyle bir soru aldım. Ben çocukluğumdan beri kitapları çok severim. Çok okurdum. Hala okuyorum ki o yüzden edebiyat çalışıyorum, edebiyat okuyorum. İletişim duygularımızı en iyi yansıtabilmenin yolu. Onu iyi kullanmak önemli. Benim iletişim şeklimde sevgi dolu cümleler. Her ne kadar İndil'e biraz aşk mektupları yazmış olsam da nasıl yazıyorum ben de bilmiyorum. İlham, ilhamım güzel. İlham Kerim İndil'e. Onun sayesinde güzel duygular hissettim. Güzel yazılar yazdım. Ve geri döndüğümde yazmaya devam edeceğim. Teşekkür ederim.
Thank you so much that you guys think this way. From the day one, all of our messages were filled with so much warmth. All of us come from different cultures, languages, countries, but became friends. You don't actually expect these people to become friends. But we created a really beautiful friendship, and it has still been going on strong for 7 years. I was a 15-year-old teen then. I was searching for someone that I can idolize, someone that is going to be my role model. That's a normal thing with adolescents. Nila became my role model with her character, behavior, her lyrics, even though I didn't understand the language. She made me so happy that I felt so understood when I read her song's lyrics. And I have always tried to express the things I felt with my poetry. And I think I succeeded because I received a question like this. I always loved books since I was a child. I read a lot, and I still do because I'm studying literature. Communication is the best way to express our feelings. We have to use it really carefully. My way of communication has lots of heartfelt words. It seems as if I wrote love letters to Indira. I actually don't know how I write. I've got good inspiration from her. I felt good emotions because of her. I wrote good things. I've came back and I will continue on writing. Thank you.
If you could say one thing to Indila, what would it be?
Ona sadece tek bir şey söyleme hakkım olsaydı, bir şey söylemek imkansız olurdu. Ve sanırım susmayı tercih ederdim. Çünkü yıllardır o şarkılarını yazıyor ve ben de onun şarkılarında kendimi keşfediyorum. Yani ben bir şey söylemesem de o zaten beni anlıyor gibi. Kalbimi hissediyor, cesaret veriyor gibi. Ama birden fazla şey söylemek isteseydim, kendi potansiyelimi keşfetmemi sağladığını söylerdim. Daha iyi bir insan olduğumu söylerdim. Şu an ben kibar, insanlar tarafından sevilen biriysem, Bu onun sayesinde, çünkü kitabın kapağına bakarak yargılamamayı ben ondan öğrendim. O farkında olmasa da benim hayatıma ilham oldu. Yıllarca bir ekrandan ona hayranlıkla baktım. O benim pusulam oldu. İyi ki de onu tanımışım. İyi ki de arkadaşım o gün o şarkıyı açmış. Ne diyeceğimi bilmiyorum. Gerçekten sadece sanırım sarılmak istiyorum. Hiçbir şey demeden sessiz bir şekilde. Sanırım gözlerinin içine bakarsanız beni anlar. Bu biraz sevgiliye söylenecek bir şey gibi oldu ama. Ben çok seviyorum.
If I could say one thing to her, it would be impossible, and I would choose silence instead. She has been writing songs for years, and I have been discovering myself in them. I feel like if I don't say a word, she would understand me. I feel as if she feels my heart and gives me courage. If I had to tell one thing, I would say she helped me discover my full potential. That I have became a better person. It's because of her that I'm loved by really kind people. I've learned to not judge a book by its cover from her. She doesn't know this, but she inspired me so much. I looked at her at my screen with admiration for years. She became my compass. I'm glad I got to know her. I'm glad my friend played that song that day. I don't know what to say. I think I just want to hug her saying nothing. She would understand me if she looked at my eyes. It sounded like something you would say to a lover, but I love her so much.
What does the Dreamer family mean to you?
Soruda da söylediğim gibi biz bir aile olduk. Ve bunun üzerinden 7 yıl geçti. Benim size katılmamın üzerinden 7 yıl geçti. En yalnız zamanlarımda siz yanımdaydınız. Aslında sizin sayenizde yalnız değilim. O yüzden en yalnız zamanlarım demem saçma. Ortak hayalleri olan birkaç gençtik. Ve şimdi hepimiz büyüdük. Kendi hayatlarımızı çizdik. Kendi yollarımıza gittik. Ama hala bir aradayız. Olabildiğince biraz dağıldık, ayrıldık ama tekrar birleştik. Nasıl denir ki bilmiyorum. Hepiniz benim kardeşim gibisiniz. Küçüklerin büyük ablasıyım. Benden büyükler de benim yoldaşım, rehberim. Hepinizi ayrı ayrı çok seviyorum. Hani kan bağımız yok ama hepimiz kalpten biriz.
As you mentioned in the question, we have become a family. It's been 7 years since I've joined the family. You guys were with me in my loneliest times. I mean, I wasn't lonely anymore because of you. We were young people with a mutual dream. Now we're all grown ups. We have carved out different paths in your lives, but we are still together. We were separated before, but we came back together. I don't know how to call it, but you're all like sisters and brothers to me. I'm older sister to the younger ones, and older ones are my guide. I love every single of you. We are not blood relative, but we are one in heart.
Well, that is all for this episode, which has focused more on the Dreamers than Indila because Indila was taking a pause in this time. But next episode, you will hear, of course, Indila's big return in August 2019 with the song Palatetet. We'll tell you all about our joy. The fan base went crazy. And Indila made Instagram. And we also used to collaborate with a guy who did promotion for Indila. He contacted the fans and sent us these rather strange videos which we were supposed to post to promote her return. So you will hear all about that in the next episode. Thank you very much for listening today and see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.